a K-pop sensation, Chung-ha, who, if for those of our fans who may not know who she is, became popular with the group IOI back in 2017. She was on the survival music show Produce 101, where she came in fourth and became part of this group. Um, and they broke up, and she decided to go on her solo tour. Had one EP before this, but now I want to make sure I say this name right because I'm not a great Spanish speaker. Querencia,
Yeah, that's right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad. Querencia, her first album, hour long, like over 20 tracks. Dave, is this album a banger?
Yeah, there's some bangers on here, no question. Going in, I didn't have a whole lot of exposure to her music. I think I'd only heard her on her track "These Nights" on "Head in the Clouds" too with Rich Brian back in 2019. So I knew the name, but she actually had signed 88 Rising since then, recently, November 2020. Clearly, with the eye to expand in the West, obviously really big already in Korea. And in the process, I was watching some of the videos and stuff, and you can tell like her Korean label as well as 88, they're very invested in this solo career, and this is like the long-awaited solo full-length project. And I was actually surprised to see how much it jumps around with sounds and stuff. Like there's a lot of like traditional K-pop stuff on like the EDM production side of things. You know, like the lead single "Bicycle." It's a pretty conventional K-pop banger, but it's great. But then there's also like some, as the album title might suggest, there's some Latin infused ideas, like on Dement. Was it a Dement? Demente.
Demente. Yep.
Yeah, some reggaeton meets K-pop right there.
Yep. Yeah. The Latin influence on this really surprised me because I think like the first couple of tracks, you kind of get what you expect from a K-pop album, and I'm not saying that in any way to diminish the quality because I think Bicycle, I think Flying on Faith, really
Yep.
good. I even liked
Yes.
is it Luce Sai Cut Stellai? That song
Yeah,
also
sure.
really stood out to me, but then you start getting into some of the like I don't know, more funky stuff, more eclectic sounds on this. You mentioned Demente. I thought that was really good. I really liked the song with Rehab. I think he's a Dutch DJ.
Yeah.
Dream of You, which actually reminded me a lot of a Dua Lipa song from her most recent album. Around the chorus, Dave, I'm gonna say, do you remember "Break My Heart" from Dua Lipa?
Yeah, yeah.
Do
I think I
do
do.
do do
Yeah,
like
there you go.
they mimic like the same thing around the
That's
chorus
funny.
here, which really stood out to me. Um, yeah, I was really impressed with this album, and uh, you know, to say that a quality album came out of a K-pop star is like one of the least surprising things we can say because after Blackpink, I think dropping a really strong album at the end of last year. Um, Obviously, BTS just dominating the world right now. Um, Chungha seems like the next one in line to just completely be dominating the charts. Um, what did you think about like the pacing of this album, or I guess like maybe the construction? Because it did feel like it jumped around a lot, and they kind of
Mhm.
used these like side D tracks or side C, side A, side B.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you think about just like the whole construction of it?
Yeah, so you have those four like instrumental tracks breaking it up. So that leaves you with 16 like full length songs, full
Mhm.
songs. And I guess as a way to like demark the genre jumping around. But in general, I always kind of struggle with like hearing that, like Slow Tie, talk about him in a second. He also had like two distinct halves on his album, but like I have a hard time like noticing it if you don't
Yeah.
like shove it in my face with like delineating it in the track list. But um I think I guess it makes sense for this because she's gonna jump around, so like it's like way to organize, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah, I found them to be really engaging the tracks because they weren't just like these like gentle instrumentals that kind of were like, oh, we're transitioning. They were like hard EDM songs. But I also wasn't sure if I felt any cohesion necessarily to the tracks, and maybe there is, and I just need to go back and like read the lyrics and read what she was going for. But I didn't feel like the construction really made a lot of sense to me. But I just think in general, the overall like way that she meshed these different sounds together, there's even some like Afro beat on parts of this,
Right.
just really really impressive. Any other moments, any other songs that you wanted to shout out?
Yeah, you mentioned Flying on Faith, which I really liked. In addition to Bicycle, I also liked Bother Me as well. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, because it jumps around a lot, I actually think this warrants multiple listens because there's a lot to listen for.
For sure. um Two that I wanted to shout out real quick. Stay Tonight, which is just like a traditional K-pop EDM banger, and Chill, which had this like really cool like layered production around the chorus where they had this choir and they kind of like layered the choir around with like the synths kind of like booming around it. It just sounded really really texturized, which I just really appreciated.
Hmm.
So those two tracks stood out. We'll definitely have at least one song from her on our Nostalgia Best of 2021. Check the show notes for that.